extraordinarily well. I want to bring in market watcher Rebecca Walser on these gains, and of course at this point in time we always look ahead, but just what do you make overall of this market, considering all the doubt, all the negative headlines, all the negative speculation? For us to have this kind of a market is really remarkable.
Charles, it is. Merry Christmas. I am having such a great retail season high, so I don't care what the retail we're expecting. We got 3.4% growth. And Super Saturday, Charles, the biggest shopping day ever, $3.4 billion on Super Saturday. That's what happens when you have a short Christmas shopping season, right, from Thanksgiving to Christmas.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You had, and I got to tell you, I mean, it's anecdotal, but as I looked around at malls, I saw greater foot traffic. I'm starting to see Gen Z hang out in the malls like their grandparents used to, and it feels like the retailer, the brick and mortar folks who have survived, have figured it out. The magic word has always been omni-channel. It's starting to work, and of those retail sales, you mentioned the 3.4% was okay with you. Are you okay with the idea then that this could be an area of investment? Because over the last 2 or 3 weeks, Rebecca, I've seen a lot of folks buying Macy's. I've seen pretty good action in the Kohl's and those kind of things. I know there's a search for value, but is that too dangerous of a move?
No, I don't think so, Charles. I think long term, I mean, look at Macy's. I mean, look at that history of that store. I mean, obviously, brick and mortar eventually is going to dissipate and in lieu of the online or the hybrid model with shopping. If you look at e-sales this year for this retail quarter, they were up 14, almost 15%, but they were still less than 20% of overall total sales. So yes, do we eventually see a total cyber online shopping experience and people maybe just go, I don't even know about groceries anymore. I mean, everything in the future is going to look different, drone delivery, all of that. But for now, long term, we still have, purposeful buying at these stores that people are going into and enjoying the in-person experience. There's still nothing like trying on something before you take it home, before it's delivered to your house and say, well, I hope it fits you.
Right.
So, yeah, I think, Charles, long term, yeah.
Especially me, especially when I go into the stores knowing that most of this stuff won't fit me in the first place. I want to bring in Kristina Partsinevelos. She's with us. Okay, so the numbers so far are trailing what the expectations were, but to Rebecca's point, the data in of itself is still very impressive.
Yeah, and we said that U.S. consumer spending grew in November. We're expecting strength for December. Those numbers haven't come out. You did mention the National Retail Federation, so they revised their numbers a little bit lower. So they're expecting sales during this holiday season to be between 3.8 and 4.2%. So it's a little bit lower, but overall, it's still really strong. The other thing, too, that we haven't talked about is I'm seeing numbers of $42 billion worth of online purchases are expected to be returned to. And we know that online sales as a whole are on pace. And this is according to MasterCard to increase almost 19% through the holiday season up till Christmas Eve. And that's super panic. Did you buy a lot of things on the last minute?
Not as many as normal. Oh. But I am that guy who's always in the mall at the last minute. And I was wondering if any stores are open yesterday morning. They weren't.
No, I checked.
Okay, me too. Hey, I want to bring in a retail watcher. Ladies, say right there. I want to bring in retail watcher Kristin Bentz with us. Rebecca Walser, of course, is still with us too. Kristin, it's been a while. How are you?
I'm great, Charles. How are you? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It's wonderful seeing you. And, of course, you were the first person years ago to hit me to buckle. I made a lot of money on that one, so hip us to what's going on right now.
What's going on right now is a lot of great retail numbers, regardless of what the NRF said. I mean, I think we had a fantastic Christmas selling season. I think the consumer is absolutely healthy, and I think there's a lot of really good news out there.
So what about because on the non-business channels, the retail story, a lot of folks hear about the massive amounts of bankruptcies, the empty malls, those kind of things. Those stories still go on, and no one ever explains the Amazon effect of those kind of things. So our overarching feel sometimes is that maybe retail is in trouble.
Retail's not in trouble. Retail that's not performing well and retail that's not experiential or thoughtful, those retailers are drowning. But if you can actually capture the attention of the consumer, have a thoughtful product on sale at the right time where consumers can get it on their schedule and make it interesting and entertain them, those retailers will prevail.
Kristina just brought up the MasterCard numbers. Here's what I think is fascinating. So you have Apparel was up 1%, but 17% on digital. Jewelry was up less than 2%, but almost 9% on digital. Department stores were down almost 2%, but they grew by 7% online. Electronics up 4.6%. And I think the point I'm trying to make here is ironically as much as we talk about the internet and Amazon killing brick and mortar retail, could it actually be the savior if played right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Amazon was responsible, I think, for 80% of Samsung sales on Black Friday. So definitely it can be a savior. You know, retail's very Darwinian, right? And so it's only the strongest survive. And so only the most, strong and clever and thoughtful retailers that can really capture your share of wallet and attention will thrive.
Which is why experiential shopping is just so prevalent now. When people have the cafes, you can do everything in the store, hang out there for a really long time, get a massage. But in terms of other numbers that we're seeing, well, I would love to do that. U.S. retailers also released some of their holiday numbers, their holiday hiring numbers. And so for Macy's, it was unchanged at 80,000 seasonal workers, but Target did increase. They plan to hire 130,000 store employees. That's 10,000 more than last year. So a little bit of a change too. Good.
Right.
Contributing to our economy as well,
right.
Although seasonal.
On that note, let me bring Rebecca back in because Target is in the top 10 movers of the year. Written off over a year ago, couldn't compete in an Amazon world. They've been able to compete. Amazon themselves just posted their numbers, the best shopping numbers ever. They talk about the items that sold, how many people they've hired just for Christmas season. I think 250,000. They have 750,000 employees around the world. Rebecca, it's the impact now that I think is more positive for the overall economy, because we hear about all these retail jobs that are going away, but they're being replaced by better paying warehouse jobs, better paying jobs, moving this merchandise.
No, absolutely, Charles. And to your point on Target, just so you know, they were open till 10 p.m. on Christmas Eve. I happen to know. So, I mean, the
now
thing
you
is
tell
with
me.
Target, I know, right? I always have that feeling that if I go to the store at the last minute, there's not going to be anything there. Like it's going to be an empty shelf. What's the point? But Target was open till 10. Charles, what's happening is Target had a great sort of a benchmark with Walmart, and the fact that they would do a hybrid. So you order online, but it's not fast enough to be delivered. So you go to the store and you pick it up same day, and it's right there at the front, customer service. You don't have to go through the whole store to get your item at the very back. So, I mean, Target and Walmart have both done an incredible job in the last 2 years of really starting to compete with Amazon and say, look, how can we leverage the brick and mortar as a positive with our online, benchmark that we need to hit. And that's really the benchmark and the new way it's going to have to be for all of these retailers that are going to stay long term. And obviously the grocery experience as well. You order online, you pull your car in, and they're delivering it to your car. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, you can't complain anymore. And also Target now is partnered with a delivery where you can have it delivered the same day. Ordered online,
it's
delivered
amazing.
The same day, and it's coming from the local store. So these are the things that are happening.
And it's reflected in those share prices. Rebecca, thank you very much, folks. Don't forget about Dow.